5 6 weeks. There were some other things that we learned, which was something based on culture from different country, Africa to Australia. So we were trying to blend that into the Australian culture, which is something that we practice from home, that we can have a strong cultural orientation with our kids within Australia here.
Today we're having a barbecue for the families. We've invited the entire family along, so mums and all the children are coming. And we're just really wanting to thank the participants for being so involved.
Yeah, the Aussie African Dad was a very important project that bring awareness to a lot of African dads.
We pitched a proposal to the Department of Education saying, how about we run this project, which is exclusively for African dads, to talk to them about the importance of early childhood education.
The workshop, certainly you will learn. I mean, you get to meet with other great dads that tell you some of the tips they use in their parenting, and some of it you learn, and see like, okay, that's something that sounds good, and I would like to incorporate that in my parenting skills. So yeah, I did learn a lot from other African dads.
The aim of the project is to encourage families from migrant and refugee background to enrol their children into kindergarten so they're ready for prep and that they have a quality early childhood experience in terms of education.
On the first day of the workshop, where all the dads and fathers came together, there was a bit of feeling of what to expect, and there was that feeling that, are you coming to tell her that we don't know how to parent? So there was that tension as well, for them to feel that, we will just be telling them what to do or tell them that you don't know how to parent. But after we open it up and start sharing ideas, and especially it kick off with some comparing the cultures within Australia and and Africa, it was very interesting, and everybody jump on and debate.
No. Hey Brian? Oh, he went with his uncle. He went with his uncle. They went to the reception.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when we come overseas, we have the tendency of importing our values of bringing up children, and those values are not the same values that we experience here. So there are quite a bit of challenge in every African father going through this, and we have to learn how to live in a new society, in a new culture. And so this program was very good. It was challenging, and it exposes our weaknesses, but it also gave us some strength.
The workshops were designed to share information and also to allow the fathers to share their experience of parenting in Africa compared to parenting in Australia.
How do different cultures within the African continent, because it's a continent made up of different countries, and how cultures are different from different community to another, and that was a very interesting learning for them. Some of them were saying, look, we believe in nuclear family. Some of them were saying, oh, we believe in the extended family, and a child can be disciplined by anyone. It doesn't need to be a biological father, and the discipline can be just calling them. If you see them doing something bad on the street, call them and talk to them, and that doesn't need a biological father. It could be anyone in the community who have noted that bad thing, and they thought this thing is not here.
One of the outcomes of the project was that we found the fathers were voicing concerns about the parenting style that they have at home, which is a more traditional way of parenting than what is normally seen in the Australian context. And I think that's really important for educators, early childhood educators, to understand, is that when they have a family come to their centre and a child at that centre, that the context of the culture that a child comes from needs to be applied and very well understood.
These kids go to school and the teachers give them the Australian values and cultures and what have you. Now when they come back home, there's a little bit of a cultural clash.
It would be good if the child care providers or staffs will understand one thing about our culture is the way we communicate, so the way kids communicate with their parents. And we're here, they teach you to stand and be confident and say what you think, you know, and look people in the eye and stuff. For us, for my culture, that is a bit rude. So let's say if my little one happened to talk to me and look me in the eye and, you know, like where you talk about being confident, yes, it's good to build that confidence and I would love my kids to be confident, but in talking to me, we have that cultural limit, that cultural boundary where you don't just talk to your parents in that manner. You know?
The system in Africa, we with our children, we discipline them. Like maybe you say, go do your homework. But if you practice that here, it becomes a problem.
The project itself's aim was to make sure that we were getting messages to the community via the dads as well as the mums.
It's good because we African got a different culture and we come to Australia, there's another culture here. We are bringing our children up, so we need our husbands to get to know the Australian culture and how to adapt properly in a society. So getting the men, showing them how to live as a father in Australia with their kids is really helpful. It will help to minimize the stress in the home. Those things that kids will easily do in Africa, we just start them. We get to know that it's a different society. We accept it. So it's good for our husbands. It's good for us as mother. When the children are not coping with the father, you get stressed up. So it's really good.
You should start doing some research on cultural differences, cultural commonalities, and make the children to know that yes, you are an Australian, you are a citizen of Australia, but you originate from a culture that is unique. And if you can practice your cultures and traditions, that makes it a unique society because diversity is strength.
The Aussie African Dads Project consisted of 6 workshops and finishing in a camp where the dads were asked to bring along one of their children for a weekend of fun activities.
My son is very happy for the flight, for the wire. He's very excited for that one, and he get worried when this for the river. He's very good. I love it. And then he says, "Oh, Dad, I want to come back again."
The dads on the camp had a great time with their children. They were very enthusiastic. They were really very impressed with their children who actually attempted the high ropes. And the canoeing experience was very fun too.
It gave us the chance to hang out with our boys and yeah, just spend some time with them.
Well, I think that it helps spending time with my dad because I usually don't get to spend much time with him because he's usually at work. And all that, by doing most of the activities, it taught me that to keep going, not just to give up. And also that, or just communicating with other people can help you.
It was the first of its kind for me as a father who has migrated to Australia since 2010, having 4 children to bring up in this country, and I have to know what are my responsibilities, what are things that I can do, that I cannot do.
I thought that he was pretty brave and he did lots of stuff. He didn't give up and he tried his best, and he tried it for me and we tried it for other people.
We had a lot to share, especially with our background and the current environment in which we are living in. And with the two, there should be a lot of compromise, but we cannot compromise our culture.
There's need to be open communication. through schools and also meetings, so that we can work together as a team instead of working separately, and that will help the child to grow well.
One thing that came out of the project that I think is useful for early childhood educators is that it's not enough to have cultural competency. We're learning cultural competency over our entire lives. It's also very important to put that child's experience and the family's experience into pre-migration, and then the challenges that they also face on post-migration when they arrive in Australia.